Have you ever felt a quiet fear? That gentle, uneasy feeling that settles in when someone brings up the words, nursing home? It's not just about the place. It's about what it represents, leaving behind the walls that have known your laughter, the chair molded to your rest, the kitchen that smells like your memories. For many of us in our 60s, 70s, even 80s, the thought of leaving home feels like closing a chapter we're still living in. It's not about age. It's about belonging, about rhythm, about identity. But what if I told you, softly and with care, that this doesn't have to be your only path, that there are gentler ways forward, ways that protect your freedom, honor your dignity, and keep you close to the people and places that feel like home? You still have choices, real, beautiful ones. So take a breath with me. Let's walk through them together, slowly, kindly, step by step. Home care for seniors. Staying independent with help. Have you ever sat in your favorite chair, looked out the window at your garden, and thought, I hope I can stay here just a little longer? The thought of leaving home, the one you built with your hands, the one where the walls know your voice, can feel heavier than most people realize. And yet, as the years pass, some things get harder. The stairs feel steeper. The soup pot gets heavier. Pills get missed now and then. And suddenly, people start whispering about what's next, about moving, about giving things up. But here's the gentle truth. Staying in your home doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It just means you need a little help. The right kind, at the right time. That's where in-home care becomes a quiet blessing. Imagine someone who comes by, not to take over, but to lend a hand where it's needed most. To help with groceries, warm a meal, straighten the bed, or remind you about your medicine. Nothing intrusive, nothing rushed, just steady support that fits your rhythm. And the beauty is, it changes with you. Maybe once a week to start, then more, if life asks for it. It grows with your needs, so you never feel like you're losing control. Think of Helen, 78. Her knees aren't what they used to be, and sometimes she forgets a dose, but 5 days a week. A home care helper drops by. Helen still brews her morning coffee, watches the birds gather on her windowsill, and meets her neighbor for a Sunday chat. Her life is still hers, just steadier, just safer, just a little lighter. Because getting help isn't about giving up. It's about choosing how you want to live. It's about keeping your mornings peaceful, your days familiar, your evenings quiet, and yours. You're not handing your life over. You're holding on to it, gently, wisely, with a little help. So if you've ever worried that staying home might not be possible, let yourself wonder again. Because with the right care, you just might find that home still has room for many more beautiful years. Living with family. How to maintain your independence. Sometimes the thought of moving in with family brings a quiet ache. You might wonder, will I still have space to breathe? Will I be a burden? Will I lose the little freedoms I still hold on to? These are honest questions, and they come from a place of love, dignity, and the deep desire to still feel like ourselves. Because as we grow older, what we crave isn't just help. It's respect. It's recognition. It's the freedom to keep living life with our own rhythm, even if it's within someone else's walls. But here's the truth. Living with family can be a blessing, if it's done with care, intention, and heart. It's not about being taken care of. It's about building a shared life where everyone brings something to the table. Maybe it's a cozy suite above the garage, a little space with its own door, a small kitchen, maybe even your favorite armchair by the window, a place where you can start your morning with quiet coffee and soft music, and end the day with laughter from across the hallway if you choose. The key word? Choice. You come together when you want to. You retreat when you need to. And in between, there's room to breathe, to help, to be part of something, without being swallowed up by it. You may help fold laundry while sharing stories from your youth, or offer gentle hands when the grandchildren are fussy, or just sit in the corner of a busy kitchen, steady as a lighthouse, while life swirls around you. Grateful you're there. That's what happened with Walter. 81. After losing his wife, he moved in with his daughter, but not into her space. They fixed up the room above the garage. It had everything he needed: a quiet place to read, a little kitchenette, and the sound of his grandson's footsteps now and then on the stairs. He wasn't moving in, and he was being woven in, into a family life that respected his boundaries and welcomed his presence. And financially, emotionally, spiritually, this kind of arrangement can be a blessing for everyone. It eases worry. It keeps stories alive. It says, we still need each other. Not in the old way, but in a new, more thoughtful way that honors everyone's independence. So if someone has offered you a room, or you've thought about offering your own, ask not, will it be too much? But rather, how can we make it beautiful, balanced, and kind for all of us? Because living with family doesn't have to mean losing yourself. When done with love, it can mean finding more of who you are, together. Safe home modifications for aging in place. There comes a time when the home you've lived in for decades, the one that holds your memories, your routines, your quiet morning light, starts to feel different. Not because it's changed, but because you have. That hallway suddenly feels longer. The bathtub edge seems higher than it used to. Stairs become less of a walk and more of a worry. It's humbling, sometimes even frustrating. You might ask yourself, why does everything I love now feel harder to reach? But let me share something gentle and true. You don't have to leave the place that holds your life just because your body moves more slowly now. You simply need to reshape the space around you so it grows with you, not against you. This is what it means to age wisely. It's not about giving in. It's about planning ahead with courage and care. It's about honoring the life you've built by making sure your home continues to serve you. Simple changes can bring back freedom. Grab bars in the shower where your balance used to be stronger. Non-slip mats where spills like to hide. A stair lift where your knees whisper, "Please not today." Brighter lights for tired eyes. Motion sensors that light your path in the quiet hours. And then there's technology. Soft-voiced reminders for your pills. A little speaker that can call your daughter with just a few words. Maybe even a video doorbell so you can see who's visiting without rushing to the door. These are not luxuries. They are gifts. Gifts you give yourself to stay independent, to move confidently, to rest in your own bed with peace of mind. Evelyn, 79, knows this feeling well. After a fall in her bathroom, she felt embarrassed, as if admitting to her limits meant admitting defeat. But her daughter helped her add a walk-in tub, a new light by the hallway, and a gentle alarm system. Within weeks, Evelyn said she felt like she'd been given back her wings. She could shower without fear. She moved with trust in her space. And most importantly, she felt safe without feeling watched. That's what good home modifications do. They don't shrink your world. They expand it by letting you stay rooted in the space where your soul feels most at ease. So if your home is beginning to feel like a challenge, pause and ask, what small changes could help me stay right here, longer, stronger, and with grace? Because growing older in your own space isn't a stubborn choice. It's a wise one. And every bar, ramp, or gentle light you install isn't a sign of weakness. It's a quiet declaration. I plan to live well, right here, in the place I still call home. Multi-generational living, setting healthy boundaries. It's a beautiful thought. Parents, children, and grandchildren all under one roof again. Laughter in the kitchen. Stories passed around the dinner table. Warmth that doesn't come from the heater, but from hearts living close together. But let's also be honest. It can get complicated. When different generations share a home, it's easy for lines to blur. Schedules clash. Habits bump. Privacy becomes thin. And if we're not careful, love can turn into tension. Not out of ill will, but out of exhaustion. So, before we say yes to moving in together, let's pause and ask the gentle, important question. How do we make this feel like home for everyone? The answer, dear friend, is clear boundaries. Not walls of distance, but gentle fences of respect. Spaces where you can still feel like yourself, while living close to those you love. Maybe it looks like this. You have your own little suite or corner, your own morning routine, coffee, the paper, a quiet prayer. Time carved out for rest. A door that closes when you need silence and opens when you're ready to join in. The family knows not to knock during your nap. You know when they need the kitchen to prep dinner. And together, you agree on little things, like who takes out the trash, or what nights are for family dinners versus solo meals. Because when expectations are spoken instead of assumed, everyone breathes easier. No one feels invisible. No one feels overwhelmed. And that's when the real beauty begins. Dorothy, 83, lives this way. After her husband passed, she moved into her daughter's home, but not as a background figure. They made a private space just for her, where she could begin and end her day in peace. She waters her plants, listens to her old jazz records, and every night tells bedtime stories to her grandkids. Not because she has to, but because they ask her to. She isn't just the grandmother. She's the storyteller, the anchor, a voice of calm in a busy household. And when she needs rest, they understand. Because love isn't just in the moments we spend together. It's also in the space we give each other to just be. This kind of living isn't about going back to the old ways. It's about creating something new, a shared life that honors everyone's pace, privacy, and presence. So if you're thinking about this path, don't ask only what you can offer or what they can do. Ask, how do we all live here with care, clarity, and kindness? Because when boundaries are clear, hearts can stay open. And what you're building isn't just a shared home. It's a circle of trust. One where generations don't just live together, they grow together. Independent living communities. Freedom with support. At some point, many of us find ourselves standing between two very different doors. One leads to staying completely alone, managing everything by ourselves. even when the days begin to feel longer and the silence gets a little heavier. The other? A nursing home, where we worry we'll lose the life we've carefully built, our choices, our pace, our quiet joys. But what if there's a third door, a softer path, a place that offers the freedom you still hold dear, with just enough support gently waiting in the background? That's what independent living communities are. Not facilities, not rules and routines pressed upon you, but homes, your own space, your own rhythm, with a friendly safety net nearby, just in case. You cook if you like, or join others for a warm meal when the mood strikes. You read in your own living room, or take a short walk with neighbors who've become friends. You live your life, fully, freely, but without the worry of being too far from help or companionship. And perhaps the most healing part of all, community. Not loud or forced, but quiet, shared presence. People in your same season of life, each carrying stories of love, of change, of strength. Folks who understand what it's like to start a new chapter, not because you have to, but because you're choosing to. That's what Frank, 78, discovered. After his wife passed and his kids moved away, his house felt more like a holding place than a home. He missed laughter. He missed purpose. He missed belonging. But when he moved into a small cottage in an independent living community, everything began to change. He joined a weekly film club, took morning walks along wooded paths, and found joy in sharing coffee with neighbors on lazy afternoons. He still shops for groceries. He still folds his laundry. But now, he does it with a full heart, because he doesn't feel alone anymore. That's what these communities can give you. Not dependence, not supervision, but companionship, woven gently into everyday life. It's not about surrendering control. It's about choosing a life filled with connection, freedom, and a quiet kind of safety. So if you've ever asked, what if I don't want to be alone, but I'm not ready to be cared for? Know this, you can still live independently while feeling deeply supported. Because it's not about what you're giving up. It's about what you're opening up to. Smart technology for aging in place safely. There's something sacred about staying in your own home as you grow older. The chair that still holds the shape of your back, the scent of old books on your shelf, the porch where your partner once sipped coffee beside you. But even in the comfort of home, a quiet question sometimes lingers. What if something happens? A fall, a missed pill, a night where the hallway feels too dark, or the silence feels just a little too far from help. It's not fear. It's just the natural tenderness that comes with wanting to stay independent, while knowing you're no longer 40. But here's the gentle reassurance. You don't have to choose between safety and solitude anymore. Technology has grown soft, gentle, respectful. It no longer blares or disrupts. It blends in, like a quiet guardian in the background, offering peace of mind without ever raising its voice. Imagine this, soft lights that glow on when you walk into the bathroom at night, tiny sensors tucked into the ceiling that detect a fall and gently alert your family. No button pressed, no loud alarm. Your medication arrives on time, with a kind voice reminding you to take it, just like someone who cares would do. Your son? He gets a message if the pill wasn't taken, not to scold or worry you, but to quietly check in and say, "Hey Mom, everything okay?" Even your thermostat knows when it's getting too cold. And your fridge? It nudges you when the milk is turning. Small things, but they make a big difference. Henry, 81, lives alone since his wife passed. At first, his son begged him to move in, but Henry wasn't ready to let go of the place that still felt like his life. So instead, they added a smart hub, motion sensors in the hall, and a discreet medical alert watch. Now, both of them sleep better. Henry doesn't feel like he's being watched. He feels respected. And that's what this kind of support really is. It's not surveillance. It's not control. It's love, woven quietly into your home. Love that says, we trust you to live how you want, and we're here just in case. So if you're holding on to your independence but also feel the gentle weight of what if, know this: you're not alone. Not anymore. Because now, help doesn't knock loudly at your door. It waits patiently in the walls. Silent, safe, ready when you need it, invisible when you don't. And that, my friend, is how you stay home with grace. Surrounded by comfort, backed by care, free and held all at once. Intergenerational communities, connecting across ages. Loneliness doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it whispers. It slips into the quiet moments. After the morning news, when the phone doesn't ring, or when a laugh echoes down the street, but doesn't reach your door. Even in a crowd, we can feel invisible. Especially when those around us move fast, their lives orbiting something far from our own. But what if there was a place where you didn't feel left behind, but gently woven in? That's the quiet magic of intergenerational communities. These aren't retirement homes, and they're not just neighborhoods either. They're places built on the idea that life, real life, is better when shared across generations. You might live next to a young couple just starting out. Down the hall, a single mother juggling 2 jobs. Across the garden, a college student figuring out their path. You bring your calm, your steadiness, your wisdom from years of living, loving, learning. And in return, they offer a fresh song, a helping hand with the groceries, or a patient ear when you're learning how to use your new phone. It's not about charity. It's not about dependence. It's mutual exchange, rooted in respect, watered by connection. Take Grace, 76. She moved into a vibrant intergenerational community in Oregon. Every Thursday, she leads a small poetry circle with local teens. In return, they fix her Wi-Fi, introduce her to music she never knew she'd love, and sit with her. Sometimes for no reason at all. She says it makes her feel alive again. And that's what this kind of living offers. Not just shelter, but belonging. These communities have gardens that invite conversations, porches that invite waves, shared kitchens, book clubs, walking paths. Each one a thread that ties lives together gently. And something beautiful happens. Your presence becomes a gift. Your stories, a bridge. Your laughter, a grounding note in a symphony of generations. Studies even show something our hearts already know. Seniors in these environments feel less lonely, experience better health, and find purpose, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments of being part of something bigger. So, if you've ever asked, where do I still fit in this world? Know this: you are not done giving, not done growing, not done belonging. In places like these, you're not just surrounded by life. You become part of it. Not a relic, not a guest, but a neighbor, a mentor, a friend. And sometimes, the best medicine isn't in a bottle. It's in the sound of laughter over dinner, the touch of a young hand on yours, or the feeling of being seen, truly seen, just as you are. You don't fade here. You shine. Quietly, gently, and fully. Closing thoughts. You still hold the pen. Growing older doesn't mean the story is ending. It simply means you're entering a new chapter. One that's slower, yes, but also richer, more thoughtful, more you. The world may try to convince us otherwise, that aging is a retreat, a quiet fade. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you still hold the pen. And your pages? They're not blank. They're full of warmth, gentle possibilities, and paths that lead back to joy. On your terms. So take a moment and breathe. Of all the ways we explored today, which one made your heart feel a little lighter? Which one made you pause and think, yes, maybe that could be me? Because you, dear friend, deserve more than safety. You deserve dignity, choice, and the quiet thrill of still being seen, still being needed, still being you. If something touched you today, I invite you to share it. Your words could be the thread that helps someone else feel understood. And if this conversation felt like a warm hand on your shoulder, please subscribe. Pass it along to someone who may need a little comfort, a little clarity, or simply a reminder that they are not alone. We'll be right here, with gentleness, with strength, with open hearts. Until next time, keep writing your story, one peaceful, powerful page at a time.